What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Daily Dance. This is part 2 of the It's Disturbing series. Part 1 was the judge's story with the Levite and the concubine. We took some time to unpack that, and now I'm pumped about part 2, which comes to us from the book of Judges. Listen, people, if you think that the Bible is boring, A, you've clearly never read the Bible, and B, you've definitely not read the book of Judges. The book of Judges, it's kind of like Game of Thrones meets like House of Cards. It is extremely violent. There's a ton of stuff, R-rated, X-rated, stuff that goes on. And in these dark, disturbing stories, there is light, beautiful truth and light that we can glean and apply to our lives. We're focusing on this dude. His name is Ehud. Now, as we get into the story of Ehud, it's important to understand the rhythm of judges. First of all, what is a judge? A judge is just another word for a spiritual leader. Spiritual leader at that time, in that culture, for those people.
Let's start off by reading verse 12. It says, "And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord. And the Lord strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the Lord." Now, doesn't it sound a lot like us? You know, we follow God for a little while, and then we stray away and start to rebel and do our own things. Then, once we see that, doing our own thing leads to negative consequences, we try to go back to God. And it's just this endless cycle. This is what the Israelites did throughout the entire Old Testament. They would follow God for a little bit, and then they thought that their way was best, and then the cycle just continued. If we want to live the best life possible, we need to just decide to surrender to God daily. Israelites were once again in a state of rebellion, in a state of captivity, as a result of their disobedience to God. Now, in verse 15, it says something that's very significant. It says, "But when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord raised them up a deliverer, Ehud, the son of Gera, a Benjamite, a man left-handed, and by him the children of Israel sent a present unto Eglon, the king of Moab."
After they realize that life is terrible, the third thing that happens is they cry out to the Lord. And what's awesome is the fourth thing that happens is every time the people cry out to God, keep in mind, it's their choice, but it doesn't matter. Even though they chose to walk away from God, every time when they cry out, God responds. He gives an answer. He sends provision through a judge, through a spiritual leader. He sends the people help, someone to get them out of that situation, to deliver them to freedom and prosperity and a new and better and abundant life.
No matter how far you stray, God's love is always there. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode as we dive deeper into the story of Ehud.